Greetings, 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 and welcome everyone across the planet. You are live with Joan of Angels and Suzanne Ross, and you're going to meet our very special guest soon, Raquel Spring. So guys, I'm Joan of Angels. I'm the host of this show, but I am also an intuitive guide, and I'm also one of the presenters and helping to let people be aware of the Sedona Ascension Retreat. And I'm here with Suzanne Ross, the founder of the Sedona Ascension Retreats. And I had a question for her is like, what is your motive behind this? Like what awakens you to leap out of your bed and do this conference, honey?
Thank you so much for asking that, Joan. I feel so called to be a networker, to shine a light upon my brothers and sisters in the spirit of unity community, to gather like-minded people together to raise the love light vibration for all of humanity. Wayne Dyer once said, when one person meditates, it affects the consciousness of 100 people. When 100 people meditate, it affects the consciousness of 100,000 people. And so when we gather over 700 people at this Sedona Ascension Retreat, we have the power to raise the vibration for 700,000 people, right? And so this is my intention. This is why I dedicate myself to bringing together hundreds of people to be inspired and empowered by these thought leaders.
All right. Well, I have chills. Okay. My whole body is in chills because, I too have the same soul purpose: to heal, to inspire, to awaken humanity to what our special purpose is, to our gifts, to how we can help in raising this frequency on the planet and call forth this new earth that we're calling for. So I love being aligned with you. I love that we're collaborating together to be part of this high vibration that's waking up souls around the planet for peace and harmony. So, wow. So we have a special guest today. We've been doing this for the last 2 weeks. I love that we have these amazing guests. Tell us a little bit about our very special guest and our ascension specialist today.
I am so delighted that Raquel Spring, a fourth generation astrologer, is my neighbor in Sedona. I had the opportunity to have coffee with her a couple weeks ago, and we really dove deep into our stories, what drives us, our passions. And we both realized that we have common and that it is truly our stories of awakening to our true calling that has led us both to where we're at on our journey. And it has everything to do with supporting the awakening and ascension of individuals, of the collective, of humanity. And so I am very delighted to feature Raquel Spring as a workshop facilitator at our Sedona Ascension Retreat. So let's bring on the beautiful high priestess, Raquel Spring.
She is a high priestess. She is a high priestess. And before we say hello, I also want everyone to know I had a reading with this beautiful soul. She stayed at the house here in Mount Shasta. And I truly felt that a goddess had entered the premises. And that's all I could say about you, Raquel, like goddess and high priestess, probably. I'm so happy to just be on the show with you today.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you. I know we just spent a beautiful time in Shasta, and I got to connect with you a little bit through your astrology chart. And I was laughing because I remember you saying that to me in the kitchen a few times about my energy and my presence. And I'm just so filled with love and gratitude. So thank you.
Well, I want to say a reading with you is a good way to get to know you, but to get to know yourself as well. So curiously, how did, I know that you have a background, fourth generation with astrology, but I also know you weren't actually brought up with it. and it wasn't something that infused your whole early childhood. So I'm really curious how you woke up to who you are.
Thank you. Yes. So before I share a little bit more about myself and my journey with astrology, I want to also just mention that, yes, Suzanne Ross is my neighbor, and I just recently found out. And I just want to say that, like, it feels like everything is happening so fast, and we're all coming together so fast, and it feels like we've already known each other. So you are my neighbor now, and I'm sure we've been neighbors in many other lifetimes. And sisters, and we're all connecting now together. It's beautiful. Suzanne, thank you for having me as a part of your incredible event that I am so honored to be a part of and participate alongside many other incredible light workers as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. Soul sisters reuniting. I love it.
It's what it feels like.
Soul family.
Yeah, I know. With Joan as well. Definitely feel that. So, yes, correct. My path was not always with astrology. It comes from my father's lineage, but I was born and raised in a very unconventional upbringing and lifestyle. I come from Brazil. I'm from Brazil. And in Brazil, I was born into a cult. And in this cult, we had many members from all over the world. So that's where I learned how to speak English. So I was in there. That was all I knew as my world and my reality. And that was my upbringing for the first 27 years of my life. So in that upbringing, it was, we didn't have much contact with the outside world. So it was a very unusual lifestyle. And I was shielded from a lot of information, and one of them was of my heritage and my lineage as astrologers. So it was only later, after I left the cult, that I opened the door to astrology as just something I was learning at the time. When my father saw me and remembered to tell me that we come from a long lineage of astrologers, I think something at that moment sunk in with me in regard to the responsibility that I carry on a DNA level with this system. And when I realized that and I opened myself to that, it was like astrology returned back into my life. And even though it was the first time in this lifetime that I was learning about it, it ended up becoming a part of my spiritual awakening at the time. So astrology was very intricately intertwined with my awakening, if you will.
That is amazing that you didn't even know those roots. Yes. And so how did you then discover like that which is your heritage? You know, I love how the universe makes sure we don't get lost, but I'm curious how they woke you up to it.
This phase of astrology? Well, at the time, my spiritual experiences had a lot to do with the sun. The sun had been speaking to me ever since I was 14, 15 years old. This is a very interesting phase of my life. And inside the cult, I would have these very profound out-of-body experiences with the sun, and they would happen very regularly. And so it just happened to be that at the time where astrology came into my life, I was at the peak of my experiences with the sun. And at that time, Gaia was coming into the picture as well, really strong, in a very profound way. So at the time that astrology came to me, I was already naturally having the unfolding of my spiritual awakening with these celestial bodies. And it was very profound. It was happening on a DNA level. And so when astrology was introduced to me, it opened a door for me to connect with these, these aspects of our solar system and all these celestial bodies in very profound ways. Very profound ways. At the time, my experiences was this massive alignment that was happening. It was in 2015 that was happening with many octaves, if you will, of the sun, and the sun and what it represents in all of its different bodies. And this alignment was happening, and I was experiencing that. So when astrology came in, it just naturally became one with my spiritual experiences. And every single night I was taken out into the cosmos and I was learning astrology, or I was here on earth and I was observing something, or I was being taught, or sometimes I was the one teaching. And it was every single night for a year and a half where I had profound experiences with astrology in this way. And so just intertwined with my spiritual awakening. And I developed a specific connection and understanding of what they represent and how they speak through astrology. So when I naturally entered into the realms of giving sessions and then teaching people how I use astrology, I naturally started to open the door to astrology in this aspect that I call the heart, soul, and essence of what these bodies represent, what the alignments mean, how they're operating in our reality right now, and how they are merely parts of us that are being expressed. So,
can we explore, Raquel, the essence of some of these planetary bodies in our solar system and how they relate to our beings?
yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, this is something that I go very much in depth in my astrology mentorship program, because when I teach astrology, before I learned astrology, I was very much into human behavior and psychology. So I very much connected as well when I started to learn astrology to this aspect of how it relates to the mind, body, spirit in the human journey. So when I teach in the astrology mentorship program and we talk, for example, about Venus, we are looking at an archetype that operates through our psyche and through our psychology, very much so. And so we do look at the spirit aspect of it, the psychological aspect of it, and then the physical. So there are many ways that you can work with these planets depending on the moment, the person, what you're looking at. So for example, since we're speaking about Venus, Venus right now for the world happens to be a very important planet this year of 2022, because Venus is the ruler of the North Node in Taurus. So this means that Venus and the attributes of Venus are very closely directed to a point in astrology that has to do with our forward movement. This is a non-negotiable aspect of our evolution as humanity. So when we look at the entirety of the astrology and what's happening at this stage of evolution, and we understand the context of Venus in the picture, it helps us understand why we are experiencing things in this way. So Venus, for example, right now in the context for humanity in 2022, has a lot to do, number one, the feminine energies that are receiving an upgrade. And the feminine energies, if I may just add a little something here about this, the feminine energies, I've noticed that they have very strongly, since 2015, they started to enter the planet in a new way. This is a direct communication that started happening between Venus and Gaia. And I had very profound experiences, and many people that I know also have had at that time experiences where I was experiencing Venus exchanging codes with Gaia at that time. And this was very, very, very profound, and especially in 2020. So the codes that they were exchanging were allowing Gaia, was preparing Gaia for this upgrade that she's been going through. So now our relationship with the planet Venus has very much to do with this energy of the feminine that is now directly connected with Gaia in a new way. So when we zoom into the picture and we look at Venus and the feminine coming into the picture, we are looking at a new relationship to the feminine archetype altogether. And so Venus paving the way as the leader here of the North Node, she is bringing our collective attention to values, Because at the end of the day, Venus represents love and values. So this branches out into everything that we need, everything we desire, everything that we are looking for when it comes to pleasure and affection and creation. So Venus is very much that feminine archetype through the psyche that wants to express and create and receive. She's very much the receiver. And so these are parts of our psyche right now that are transforming. And we see this happening on a deep level, especially when it comes to relationships. And this is also something that Venus is responsible for. And so we see the relationships in our life having this direct influence on our shift of values. And as we shift our internal values, we then start to see the physical manifestation of that shift of values that we have been calling in and creating. And this is where we can see then the financial systems no longer working and us starting to call new ones and so forth.
Thank you for clarifying that. And I think we can all feel these divine feminine energies that have been pouring onto the planet probably since 2012. But I love how you identified Venus's influence in 2015, moving into the North Node. And I also appreciate how you have brought values into it, right? Because it's so important when we talk about ascension to explore ascended ways of living and being. Mm-hmm. And values are certainly one of those. How would you describe values from an ascended way of being?
That is the perfect question. Just felt something light up inside because I see this introduction where I can share the bigger picture of where we're heading is into this new stage called the Age of Aquarius. And this is why we are shifting values and we're going through this collective purge, as I've been calling it. And what's really happening here is that we're going through this process of uncluttering all the old information, programming, memories, and just the things that have served their purpose, but now we're ready to go into those stories and into all those things that happened to us and extract the wisdom from all of it. And allow the memories and all the emotional attachments to it to just dissolve as we extract through the heart the wisdom gained from all of our experiences. And in this, we rise into this new state of awareness called the Age of Aquarius. So this is a process of a few hundred years that we go through the transition. There is no ending date and beginning date for this to happen. It really is a transition. So we transition into opening up our awareness to understand more of our potential, of ourselves as creators, of our bodies and our relationship to our bodies, and how that is a direct reflection to our relationship with Gaia as well. So many of these things are going to start awakening into our reality as a consequence of our awareness. And these are all attributes that have to do with the enlightenment of Aquarius that Aquarius naturally brings. Aquarius is a sign that has to do with intelligence. It is very high level intelligence. Aquarius is the genius. You know, he is the mastermind. But Aquarius, at the end of the day, the reason why it's so much the genius energy, it's because it represents the mind of God, the cosmic mind. Really, when you stop to think of the symbol of Aquarius and you think of the waves, and many people think that those are water waves, and that was just a little distortion, a small little distortion in the astrology history there. But those waves, they represent cosmic information. And that's why Aquarius is an air sign. It's related to the air attributes. So Aquarius has to do with all the information in the cosmos, in the mind of God. And when we zoom into the aspect of the actual cosmos, we see there a massive opening for cosmic family to start to come in. Here's where we see the big door for all of these contact information with family and other parts of the solar system. And we're going to start to see this become more and more a part of our reality very, very soon. So all of this energy from Aquarius coming into the picture now is expanding our awareness. This is why we're having these awakenings. This is why we're having these states of enlightenment and ascension and all of these things that are very Aquarius-like. Now, of course, there's always the shadow aspect of it as well, but we are working together through this integration of polarities right now at this stage where we're at. And through that understanding, we are rising into this new state of awareness. So in order to rise into this new state of awareness, we need to unclutter. And so this is why we have to go through the purging and then the natural organic process that happens of the rearrangement of values. Because if you stop and notice, look at yourself and a lot of people that may be going through a very real process of death. And this is a death of identity, which is not a bad thing at all. But it's just that we are shifting so fast that we are experiencing transitioning from being one person into a brand new one in this stage so fast, we don't have to leave the physical body anymore to do that. So, did you want to say something?
We are listening.
Oh, okay.
I'm listening.
Yeah, so we're going through this, all of us collectively, where many of us, we don't identify ourselves anymore with even the things we thought we wanted to do up until this point. And then in that, there's also a natural losing of interest in certain ways of living, certain attraction to certain things, certain people, certain foods and lifestyles. So this is naturally dissipating, and for some people faster than others. And this can be a scary process because we see so much shifting so fast, and many people don't even really know who they are anymore at this point. And this is why we have events like this Ascension one happening in March, exactly for that. So we can really come together as a community to support each other during this time of awakening. Because all that is happening is that we're awakening to who we're becoming next. And this is where, with the Aquarius energy coming in, we are going to start to see the supernatural become normal, living miracles every day. This is going to be a very normal part of our reality coming soon. So we are having a natural shift of values and opening our eyes to the new and people and relationships and ways of living that really are coming in with this new Aquarius frequency, which is community, coming together.
So it's happening organically, kind of with or without us, this transformation in this time. Because I've been telling people that we're really in this ascension wave, that somehow this is a time where so many people are waking up so fast. So now you're saying that actually this can't even be stopped, this process of where we're going collectively.
Yes, 100,000,000%. Yes. I always say this is beyond government, beyond dark agendas. Like, yes, of course, everybody is coming along for the ride and everyone is trying to come in and getting a piece of the pie of who's going to be the first one with the new solutions for education, for finances, for government. But they know the new is coming in. It's unstoppable. So I feel that it really behooves us at this stage of awareness to choose really the things that are aligned with the new world that we're creating, and not based in the old paradigms. That is, what can this do for me? Is it convenient for me? This is very easy when we look at things like technology. We are going to see technology come in really fast into the picture, and some really, really far out things enter the picture very soon. And so it really is just about walking this path with awareness. You know, it's one thing to have a cool technology, but then it's another thing if you're going to start allowing your body to become, right, parts of it to become technology. And so it's just really about having that common sense when, as we awaken to these new possibilities, to understand that the ultimate goal with all of this is to ignite this high potential within us so that we can fulfill and we can accomplish and experience those things that technology can also help us with, but we can do it organically. So yeah,
So,
it's unstoppable. It's happening.
so I have a question around that then. So many people are in this process of waking up. And so what I'm hearing you say is that it's guaranteed that this ascension process is going to happen. And so in a sense, it's sort of guaranteed. I've been hearing other speakers speak about that too. So if it's guaranteed, then we know we can trust that process, because I know that there's a fear basis. Like, I know I've had it from other lifetimes of losing your life, of this is dangerous to be able to know all of this information. So does some of the astrology help heal the memories we've come with that shadow us as we go forward in this? Does that make sense?
Yes. Are you speaking of the memories of past lives, or are you speaking
Right, the memories of when we've tried to do this before, when we've shifted our consciousness even collectively and have not been able to make it. And yet now we're being assured that the time is now, that these next few years are all about the new earth, that we can implement this. And yet there's still that memories of when it wasn't safe.
Yes, and I'm actually hearing a lot of other people say that too. So thank you for bringing it up. I've actually been very blessed to be a part of a lot of recent events that have to do with UFO disclosure and contact and so forth. And so just, really opening to this community now and getting to know a lot of things for the first time and hearing a lot of them speak about this. And so for me, as I look at astrology, it's a no-brainer. I look at it and I'm like, well, don't you understand? You're at the right place at the right time. It's like, you don't need to do anything. It's like, the world is yours right now. This is especially next year, 2023, and especially 2024. There is such a big, powerful opening coming in from the soul aspects, creators of this reality. And when things come from the soul aspects, they are non-negotiable aspects for humanity. So we are going to be having these non-negotiable aspects coming in, introducing a new reality. And a big part of it has to do with the disclosure of information, not just disclosure. I mean, this is really about, I feel like we were already skipping those steps. Like, we've already had disclosure. This is about opening the door for contact, for really inviting this in as a part of our experience. So it's going to happen so fast. We don't even need to be worried about being worried that it's going to go wrong. It's already here. It's literally already here.
I love how you talk about the age of Aquarius, and it's like we've been waiting for this age of Aquarius, and here it is now upon us. And so many of us are experiencing these things that you have presented, like the genius aspect. I know many of us are getting these downloads of information that really do represent higher intelligence, and how we're able to tap in to these sophisticated concepts and talk about them and write about them. And it's not as if we've been taught these things in school or even read about them. They're just flowing through us. Higher intelligence, lots of creativity, like Joan of Angels painting and creating with graphics these amazing pictures that are activating, right? And so intelligence is flowing, creativity is flowing. When we open to allow it to flow through us and then express it and share it with others, because that's what we feel inspired to do. When we become awakened, when we step onto the ascension path, we want from the bottom of our heart to share that radiant love light frequency with our brothers and sisters on the planet.
We are programmed to do that, though. Many of us light leaders, spiritual entrepreneurs, healers have that gene in us, that activation to serve others and to heal and inspire and share. And that is the miracle of it. And that's why I'm getting back to this conference, because when we come together and we act, that physical presence activates, we can do it here on Zoom, really 1,001%. But when we actually do it together in person, it takes it to a higher level. I'm really curious, Raquel, what are you going to be teaching and sharing at this conference? And can people get readings? Or like, what are you going to be doing at the conference?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to start by saying that it doesn't matter what I talk about or what the theme is. There's always a little bit of the astrology of the moment and the energies of now. And because, especially right now, during this period that I call the Great Transition, and this year, 2022 and 2023, there's a lot of big energies that are important and, important for us to understand, and also very much felt by people. So I always end up talking a little bit about the energies, if there are eclipses happening around the time or retrogrades, and just kind of focusing in on that and having everyone settle into what is happening right now and the true reason for it. So along those lines, I know a big theme of interest that I spoke with Suzanne about, that she was very interested in, is the Black Moon Lilith. Now, the Black Moon Lilith is an archetype in astrology that is not very much talked about. And so a lot of people, they can kind of get a sense for what it is, but they don't really know. And it really holds true to that mysterious, dark archetype, that the shadow and you get a sense of it, but you don't really go there. So the Black Moon Lilith is an archetype in astrology that has been speaking to me very deeply especially since 2019. And I've been working very closely with this archetype. So I'm going to be sharing some wisdom on this for everyone.
I love that. Love that.
I love how, go ahead.
Are you going to be available to do readings or booking appointments and sessions with people? Because I know you live there in Sedona as well.
Yes, absolutely. So the in-person sessions, they can be done before or after the event, anytime. We can absolutely schedule in-person sessions, but the ones that I have the most of are the Zoom sessions, because that way the person can have their own convenient time to sit down and whenever you can. So there are both options, absolutely. And, the sessions that we have together, they really are exploring your personal blueprint, your personal astrological map from this depth, from this perspective, whether we're looking at Venus or whether we're looking at the Black Moon Lilith in your chart, or whether we're looking at an eclipse. We really are looking at the entirety of the message in there, the heart, soul essence of what that is communicating. So that is what happens in our time together.
Sweet.
I relate to what you're saying about how whatever comes through at the time is what's meant to come through for the audience. I can have a PowerPoint and a bullet points on a piece of paper, and I get up on stage and I might as well just throw it all out, because what flows through me is what I'm channeling through for that moment in time.
We're all right. Well, yeah, it's part of our new schedule in this like new feminine era, if you will, just being in the flow, right?
I am lucky if they give me a beginning, okay, and if they sort of let me know where we're going to end up, and then I come back to earth, and I just feel we're called. And I love, Raquel, I love what we're talking about. I love that. First of all, I love that I'm going to get to see you again in Sedona. But Suzanne, maybe we should show the conference and talk about some of the other speakers as well. And then we'll continue with Raquel. How's that?
Sure.
Yeah, just to Okay, hold on.
And, just like we were saying about, it flows through you what is most conducive for the awakening of humanity at the time. And I have to share with you that the people that I choose to present at these conferences, I am guided to put together the right combination of spiritual leaders, of guides, of practitioners, of authors. And so it's not as if I sit down and put together a wish list of, people who have the biggest following or something. It's not like that at all. I have a personal relationship with each of these presenters. I have been called to their work. I have studied and researched their work. I have been inspired by what they have contributed to the awakening of humanity, and or I have been presented with them at some event or some other conference, and I really resonated with either what they were presenting at the conference, or I feel a personal resonance with them. And so I just wanted to add that, that this is who is being presented has come through me as the combination of people who will serve best at this spring equinox of 2023. And of course, I do have it during the spring equinox because, as we know, inspired by the ancient civilizations who built entire temples around the rising and setting suns of the equinoxes, that this is a time when the veil between interdimensional realms is thin. And so what a perfect time to have a conference where we are expanding interdimensionally and connecting with Source. And so these speakers and presenters are ascension experts. They are very well versed in different concepts to do with awakening and also our connection with the galactics. I'm so delighted at all of the people who said yes to coming and presenting here at the event. And as Joan is scrolling down the homepage of our event website, you can see all of these videos that we have there of our interviews with these amazing people. And yours will be added today, Raquel.
Wow,
Yes.
I am vibrating with joy. This is so awesome. Joan, did you want to say anything? Because I want to say something.
I want to say one thing. Last year, I was at the Conscious Life Expo. I have to always tell the story. Suzanne was there in her booth, and I passed by, and it was like I passed by this gorgeous booth, Sedona Ascension Retreats, and it's like, oh my God. And I just knew at that moment I was supposed to be there. It was just really an incredible experience. You have I just want to say something, that the moment people come into that event, there's a feeling of home. There's a feeling of you're in an ancient mystery school with the exact right ascension teachers to share with you in this container. So that was my experience last year. I'm so honored to be here. And I love that Raquel's going to be here. Okay, go now. Raquel, it's your turn.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So I love that. I mean, Suzanne, what you're doing for the planet is so incredible because you're bringing together so many conscious and aware people days before the magnificent event of Pluto entering Aquarius, literally paving the way. It's literally happening days before. This happens on March 23rd. Pluto enters Aquarius, and this is going to be groundbreaking energy coming in. So the fact that you're bringing together so many people for us to establish this frequency of Aquarius in the highest level, everything that we're calling in this new earth, days before this celestial alignment. I mean, talk about, this is very synchronistic. I love it. I love it.
I think it's fantastic. I do want to mention our sponsor, a Portal to Ascension, for the Ascension Retreat also. And what's exciting for me is that I have a booth there this year. I'm going to be showing my art. And I just know so many people there. I'm just excited to even see you again, Raquel. So is there anything else we want to cover that we want to know. You've already prepared the way, Raquel, for why we want to be there and the energies that are going to be happening
I know.
during this time. Suzanne, what else would we like to add?
I just want to thank Raquel for taking the time today to share her phenomenal astrological insight with us, and bless you for all that you're doing to align people with their birth charts, to let them know what their heart, soul, and essence of their sign is. And I'm sure that you give them so much hope, inspiration for their ability to co-create the positive outcomes that they want to create in the future to come. And also thank you for letting us know how these astrological alignments are co-creating the new earth and the new earth vision for us all. Bless you, sweet soul sister.
Thank you. Thank you both for having me here. I'm really looking forward to this upcoming event in March. One of the things that I'm very excited about it is how, all of us are going to be bringing very new information into the picture that is coming in as the age of Aquarius comes in. We are also bringing in a lot of this new light coming into the planet. So, even speaking about the astrology of our times, or speaking about the Black Moon Lilith energies, we really are looking at the next level of what that means for you, for humanity. And the Black Moon Lilith energy, summarizing, is a new aspect of the feminine sovereignty coming into the picture now. And so really understanding this in this way and having everybody contribute with this new perspective of the reality we're creating. And I'm so excited to have the opportunity to come together, share this wisdom. And thank you for having me here today.
Sweet.
Yeah, I feel like rejoicing. We are creating the new earth, soul sisters. And I love you both so much. And the high vibration is happening now. This awakening, this ascension, this co-creation of a new earth is happening now. Hallelujah.
And we are all co-creators. All right, Raquel, we'll see you in Sedona. Everyone, all of our wonderful audience has been listening to us. We'll be live again tomorrow. Who's our guest tomorrow, Suzanne?
Karen Dahlman. And she is so fascinating. She talks all about the alchemy of spirituality. And she's written several books. She uses spirit boards to help people connect with their higher selves. And so I'm very excited to talk to her and to have her be part of our event.
All right, that sounds amazing. All right, guys, we will see you all tomorrow. You're here with Joan of Angels, Suzanne Ross. We had our amazing guest, Raquel Spring. We are bringing you all sorts of information about different aspects of ascension. So have a blessed and beautiful day. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you. Bye.